Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cursed Dota Invitational, and this is round 2. And this is a matchup between Navi and EG, both in the winner's bracket, and with me once again is Shredkid. And this is a matchup I've been personally looking forward to for quite a while. Even though one of these two teams may meet up, EG tends to get stomped.
Yeah, well, we can only hope for the best for North American teams, really, when they play against Navi. So I'm pretty much always rooting for EG. Just that said there, let's go.
Yep, so we're going to unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. And once again, it looks like Havos is being stood in for by Sakshka. So yeah, this is Cursed Dota Invitational round 2. EG has been looking quite sharp ever since they made the transition, and I think they're almost finished moving in, but I don't think Demon and Bambo have quite reached at the time this game is played. I think at this point, Bambo has reached the United States and Arizona. And meanwhile, Navi playing without Havost. But overall, it should be an interesting clash of styles. EG, it's hard to get a read on them. Sometimes they play conservatively, sometimes they play aggressively. I think they're one of the most unpredictable teams in North America, or even in the West.
I would say definitely in America, of the big, like the major teams, you never really know what they're going to do. You know, Liquid sort of plays their own trademark style. Dignitas sort of plays in their little turtle shell and then comes out of it mid-game with like 4 semi-carries. So for the most part, EG can do anything, and it really depends on who's drafting. Like, I think Fear's drafting for this match, and I think he tends to draft a little bit more conservatively than Demon or Beat is.
Hasn't been Fear been drafting recently? I know they switched when they were in their slump, but ever since he made it to the 4 role, I think he's been drafting pretty much all the time now, or I might be mistaken.
Yeah, no, I think he has been for the past like 3 weeks at least. He's been so.
Yeah, and EG, keep in mind, to reach to round 2, they did beat Dignitas in 2-0 fashion, so they are definitely showing that they are not to be underestimated. Unfortunately for the TI3 West qualifiers, they're in a bit of a weird group. They have Mouse in the group, which I think is the second best team in the West qualifiers, and only one team from each group moves out, so that's a bit unfortunate for either of those teams if they can't advance. But anyways, gonna go right into the picks and bans. Now he's smartly banning out the Magnus, EG banning out the Bat. Magnus seems to be hit and miss, because I just cast a game with Lumi where Mag was not picked or banned, but I think Mag is still one of the best heroes in the game.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can really contest that he's an amazing hero, and especially against a team that has a Demon on it, you don't really want to give him Magnus. And also, Evil Geniuses has second pick, so they have to ban Batrider because that just is the first pick this match. Just Batrider's first pick. So, because Navi has second pick and don't have to worry about banning Batrider, you say, hey, you know, we'll get rid of Magnus. I don't think they like having Dendi play it to begin with. Like, they'll do it, but they don't like it. And Demon will obviously pick it up with second pick, so it's a great ban. And then there's a next ban, which just says they're not interested in it as a first pick.
Yeah, I feel like Dendi always wants to be doing stuff, and Dendi, well, Mag can do stuff, but it has some stopgaps in between. He likes those more mobile heroes, more higher impact heroes who can spam more shit. And Magnus, you can spam your stuff, but I mean, RP isn't exactly a spammable spell. But Navi, they got the Wisp, which made it through. EG is going to be out the Lifestealer, so clearly EG has a plan in mind. And we have seen Wisp being picked in high regard. We have also seen him fade out in certain matches. And just go over why Wisp is so hit and miss in the Western scene and really not played at all in the Eastern scene.
Well, the reason why he isn't played is because there are ways you can deal with him, but he'll really, really constrict your playstyle. You have to 5-man up early, like with a Syllabear or something. You need mobile carries, or just people who can have BKB and run away from him. So like Juggernaut, who can spin and TP, a Naix, who can rage and TP, something like a Quap, Storm, Puck, anything with a Blink Dagger from mid, who can just be split pushing and farming and then just leave once the Wisp shows up. You can make his relocate useless. And at that point, he's just in a defensive tri-lane, and with a really, really aggressive tri-lane, you can shut him down and make sure he gets nothing. So that's why he's bad, but the reason why he's good is because if anyone's ever out of position for 1 second, they die. And I am going to say in the Western scene, people are out of position. Like, there's no reason to ever get killed by a Wisp gank, but you see it happen. So we see Wisp CK picked up, and EG is going to go with Coddle Clock, which is fairly standard, but also fairly susceptible to getting killed by Wisp, so.
Yeah, it's interesting that EG picked up Clock in such high regard. I know teams like Alliance, well, maybe not Alliance so much, but Liquid really places Clock in high regard. I have not seen EG honestly handle the Clock with great success, if at all. I've never seen EG play the clock, so it's interesting that he's picked in such high regard. But Navi going to pick up the Skyrath, and again, Dendi has been training the heck out of this hero, and really, he's a powerful hero, and it's also capitalizing on the lack of familiarity. Again, EG, Navi, all these teams stopped playing Dota 1 when Skyrath is introduced in the scene, and now that he's in Captain's mode, this is pretty much the first time people have played Skyrath Mage. Whenever we hear people say, alright, how do you think this hero is going to do in this? Teams always inevitably go, well, since he's not in the tournament pool, we haven't been playing him, so I honestly can't say, but yes, lack of familiarity in dealing with Skyrath Mage seems to be working pretty well for Navi for the most part, at least from what we've seen thus far.
Yeah, that lack of familiarity is only going to last like another month or so, but the thing, I think why they picked up Skyrath this game is because when you have an IO tri-lane, it's like 99% that it's going to be safe laned, unless the enemy team has like a terrible tri-lane, like with the Void or something. But basically, with the defensive tri-lane with Wisp, like you want to keep it down, and your supports are going to be in Wisp's face like the entire time, and I think it's just going to be like try versus try, no motion around the map. So Skyrath Mage is kind of free to do whatever he wants mid because he can't get roamed on. And Gyrocopter is just, you know, a North American pickup. I don't know if I necessarily see this synergy so far, except from they have 3 fairly flexible heroes. There isn't really an overreaching plan so far that I see.
Yeah, Gyro could be in a bit of a trouble because he is quite spell dependent in the early game, and Skyrath Mage shuts him down with that incredibly powerful silence. There is a lot of disable coming out from the first gold picks on the side of Navi, so I feel like Gyrocopter could be a bit of a liability in the early game. I mean, when it comes down to the late game, Gyrocopter is as scary as any carry in the game, just of the threat for whatever DPS he goes for, whether it be MKB or Rapier. He will always have an impact in later stages of the game. But in the early to mid game, you usually want to have something to help set him up, whether it be Darkseer with the call down, RP, or just have him set up the early game ganks with the Shadow Demon. And in this game, they don't really have anything of the sort. And when it comes down to the time when Wisp and Chaos Knight will roam, and Skyrath Mage can do what he wants, Gyro I feel like could be a hindrance. But EG gonna bat the Rubik, Navi gonna bat the TA. So Navi anticipating that EG still wants to get a mid, and that's probably a solid guess here.
And I would also guess that TA just destroys Skyrath and lane. I've never actually done the matchup, but it seems like just TA, everything that TA has going for her, Skyrath can't deal with. So I would think that Denny just doesn't want to do that matchup. And,
yeah, I think by the time
okay.
Skyrath Mage gets his low cooldown, 2-second cooldown on his Arcane Bolt, he's level 7, and by that point, TA should have a solid edge. So I think you're probably right. And also, the 0 armor kind of hurts against TA, so I think you're probably right. TA probably does completely decimate Skyrath. But other than that, I mean, Skyrath is legit mid. He is ridiculously powerful.
I've seen some people, just some, you know, NA pub stars, absolutely destroy, like, in-house games with him. And I still don't really know, like, his timings and stuff, but I do know that he's scary. Navi's going to ban out Bane Elemental. I guess that sort of makes sense. Well, you know why? Oh, here's why they did it. And they're probably going to ban out Shadow Demon next unless they take it. It's because they're scared of the Clockwork tri-lane. Because you can have a Bane set up into Clockwork Cogs and then Keeper the Light Blast. And it's a really, really strong tri-lane, and it's a really good way of shutting down a Wisp just basically forever and delay level 6 until like 13, 14 minutes even. So I think they're trying to not allow a Clockwork tri-lane. And I don't know if EG runs that, but I know Liquid does.
Yeah, Liquid definitely love to run it because Cogs just burn so much mana. Without mana in the early game, you're essentially useless unless you have a lot of range to dish out a lot of harassment. But yeah, I think Shadow Demon, I have to agree with you, would be a smart ban here. Also to protect the Skyrath, who is very susceptible to ganks early on. Even with a decently above average base movement speed of 315, he is low range comparable to an OD. He's squishier than an OD because he has 0 armor, and he has, in general, a lower HP pool. So I think you'd probably be right. Navi will probably ban out the Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, EG gonna ban out the Nature's Prophet. So actually, Navi gonna ban out the Enigma. Interesting. Usually whenever EG picked up Enigma is for Melk in the jungle, but I don't think EG would have picked up Enigma right here. I mean, Enigma is decent. I guess Navi's afraid of being pushed on.
Well, it's not for the black hole because you can beat it. There's a bunch of different ways you can beat it. Skyrath Mage can, CK can, other heroes that you can draft, like even Io can. But I think it's banned out just not for pushing because Navi's going to 5-minute and have the edge early. But I think it's banned out to stop the gyro cooldown and then black hole and then just everything's dead.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and also with the lineup Navi has, they don't really have the best counter pushing. And Enigma in the early game, when he gets the push going, there's very few heroes that can sort of stop him. So maybe Navi want to make sure their towers stay up so they can teleport around with the Wisp Chaos Knight. Because if you do lose those towers, then you lose so much map control. And Wisp, again, once he sort of reaches that point where relocate is not as effective, he falls off significantly. So that could be another reason as well. But UG taking quite a bit of time for their last span. Clearly considering, alright, now you still need another support, still probably need an off lane unless they go aggressive, which they probably won't, so I guess this time is going to be used to ban out the Lone Druid, so EG fearing the push, and Navi going to respond with the Darkseer. I think also deny EG the Darkseer, because Darkseer fits pretty well in both of these lineups.
I think it's a denial as also just to get an ultra buff CK for the mid game. The CK with the Wisp running around with the whatever damage it is Ion Shell, it's like what, 120 or something? And hasted is really, really scary. I mean, CK is just probably the best early game carry strictly for fighting, from like 15 to 25 minutes. But if you buff him even more, he'll just be impossible to stop. And there is the Shadow Demon, so we could see... No, we won't see a safe lane gyro anymore because there's a Darkseer. Oh, okay, no, it makes more sense why there's a Darkseer now. Because there's a Darkseer, it means that you can't safe lane the gyro, so you're not allowed to do a clockwork aggressive tri-lane, because Darkseer can just creep skip, and then gyro won't get anything because of its terrible base damage on the tower. So they have to do a gyrocopter tri-lane, and gyrocopter can't really do that much against an IO tri-lane, because IO's just going to be really, really far in the back, and CK's too tanky to kill with the disrupt, so it makes sense.
Wow, never really thought about it that way, but yeah, I mean, gyrocopter is... They have to pull him a lot if they want to keep him in the safe lane. If you pull when you're going tri-lane versus tri-lane, clearly you're going to lose, even against CK. And Navi clearly anticipating that EG is going to have a defensive tri-lane. They're going to pick up the Chen, and that means the push will be on very early on. And Clockwork, although he does have the rocket, he wants to get some points in the cogs, may 1 point in battery assault, well, probably at like a level 4 or 5, even 7, but he can't really do too much when his rocket flare is such a high cooldown in the early levels, so now his push on the bottom lane will be quite powerful, and EG going to pick up the puck, so it's going to be Demon playing the puck mid, and Demon is really, really strong in the mid lane, but this is going to be a difficult matchup to say at least, because Skywrath I feel like has just so much more damage he can dish out.
I don't know if it's a bad matchup or not, because you can phase shift all the nukes that come at you, but I don't know if the silence is good enough to make up for it. Because if you can throw a nuke at him, it doesn't hit, and then he's getting ready to phase shift, and then you silence him, and then he can't do anything. That's a ton of mana just to get one nuke in. So I don't know if it's really worth it or not. Also, I guarantee Dende knows more about this matchup than Demon does, just because he's been spamming it, and you don't really spam practicing against a hero. You spam practicing that hero, so...
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and also, another good point for Dendi is that Skywrath has 0 armor, which I mentioned. He has pretty long range, so Puck can definitely outrange him. So there is that in Demon's advantage in terms of physical harassment. And with the Skywrath, you can't really count that because most of his harassment does come from the nukes. But anyways, introducing the players and teams, is going to be Puppy playing the Chen. Sakshka, I think, is going to be playing the Chaos Knight again. I don't know. This might be a boast. I think it's Sakshka.
I think it's Saksha, yeah.
Yeah, Dendi is going to be playing the Skywrath. Kuroki is playing the Darkseer. Phonic is playing the Wisp. And I was a bit curious for a second, but no, this is... Remember in DreamHack?
Phonic always played Wisp.
Yeah, DreamHack. Godblack said, if we give Phonic Wisp, we win.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this guy's good enough that not one but two teams change their roles whenever Wisp is picked. So it is a really... Oh, Jao goes Phonic Wisp. But, apparently, he's really good at this hero, and it is a very high skill cap hero. Like, you can just sort of tether someone and heal them and, you know, bring them around the map. Or you can save everybody and always be healing someone at, like, max potential and turn your damage reduction thing on every single time they take a hit and turn it off. So it's a very high skill cap hero, and you can do a lot with it. And I think Phonic is better at it than anybody, really.
So they are actually going to go Trine versus Trine. Maybe they feel like if they have no choice, they're going to give the Gyrocopter so much regen. I mean, this is 1 extra set of tangos? No, 2 tangos, right?
He got fed a double set of no, he bought 2 tangos for himself and got fed 1 set of tangos, but he's gonna be just tanking creeps on his tower, and he hasn't got the base damage to really get a lot of kills, so they are gonna offensive tri-lane with the clock. which I am happy to see. This is why I was saying that they might pick up Shadow Demon. But yeah, because of that Darkseer pickup, top lane's going to really struggle for EG. And bot lane, I don't know if they can necessarily kill anyone. Because CK is just so hard to kill, and I don't think they have the damage.
So I guess they want to minimize Wisp's impact, but they have some. They don't really have the supports to really roam in and contest Chen, and of course Chen is so difficult to contest in his jungle. So yeah, this offensive try by EG, it's really focused on denying the Wisp, but it's a dual lane for the most part, and EG didn't block off the pull spots. They didn't even go into the enemy jungle to deny the Chen creeps, just because they knew since they were on the dire side, it's a lot more difficult for them to trade off the Radiant if they're not all 5 together. So maybe they felt like they had weaker level 1, which was probably the case. So Chen is going to have all access to creep camps. Wisp will have all the pull camps. And again, like you mentioned, they can't kill a CK, so I don't know.
Well, they might be able to, but they can't. It'll be hard, and he can always bring himself out of the cogs. It's not like a guaranteed tri-lane kill, but it can happen, which is why I think Na'Vi might have won this draft.
Yeah, interesting, as Chaos Knight is taking some damage, so if he takes a little bit too much rest, and that could be a bit negative for you, but here comes Wiz Tether onto the Tormentor, or the Hellcaller, whatever it is, as Bambo just going to pop the cogs, already level 2, and EG forced to rotate already, going to check out Keeper already going to place the ward, going to try to deny some creeps. Does manage to snipe off 3 small creeps, so definitely going to be very pleased with that, as Kuroki is actually getting bullied for the most part by this Gyro. Jo seems to have some grasp of knowledge on how this lane works, but I guess it gets more difficult as it goes on.
Yeah. Once you can actually start creep skipping, which is now, you can just go do that. I'll probably do it in not this way, but the next one. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I think, yeah, Fear's headed top because they realize bot lane's a wash. And I think Beatus is just going to stay bot to make sure Bambo gets experience. But all in all, EG's lanes are not working out as they were intended to.
Well, they do have a solid late game, and they have a lot of turtling power in the form of the Keeper as well as the Clock, and even Puck with his long range does a decent job at that. But the mid game where Navi's lineup really starts to shine, EG has some powerful healers that can deal with that, but it's going to be so difficult. As Kuroki going to get a bit of missile harassment. Here comes Fear on the rotation, as the missile actually does not hit because of the disruption, so a little bit of mistiming. Might have been some sort of like, probably just a bit of mistiming, but these two guys are the ones who first move into their Zo team house, so come on guys, step it up.
Step it up. Yeah, when you're sitting next to each other, it's much easier to communicate. And I just realized another reason why they picked up the DS. Sorry to keep talking about this, but it's because, oh, Demon's
getting absolutely nuked by Dendi. Used Concussive Shot, used all of his spells. Demon forced to bottle up furiously, and you can see Scarth, even after all that, still has a reasonable amount of mana. He's going to get his bottle shift towards him, and Demon really doesn't have that much HP to play with, as he is going to be forced to phase shift everything, and going to nuke from far. Demon's actually handling this lane decently, but Dendi is clearly winning it, although not by a huge margin. Only has about 2 more CS and 5 more denies.
Yeah. But yeah, I was going to say Darkseer can build a rush of pipe, and Chen rushes the mech, and then the Keeper of the Light doesn't even matter, and you can have CK just run at the tower and take him off the tower and kill him. So the more I think about it, the more I really, really like Navi's draft. And Demon is, you're right, I am surprised. He got 16 creeps, which is much better than I thought he would be doing. But yeah, this looks like it's just going to be a passive game, which is going to favor Navi, because you're going to get the Chen ultra fast mech up. If it's just like a farming Chen, you can get that up pretty fast. And then Wisp isn't getting contested, which is like, this is how you beat a Wisp. You kill him in his tri-lane over and over and over, and they're not doing that. So Wisp is going to just run around and get to do whatever he wants with CK. He's going to have an ultra-fast armlet drones, whatever he wants. Dendi's not getting pressured at all, and the only thing EG's getting for it is JO's getting farm.
Yeah, Demon actually took a little bit of rest. And I thought he might have been in trouble. Whenever I see that sounds, I'm like, oh shit, that guy's dead. As Puppy picks up the invisibility rune, looking to perhaps get a chain nuke onto Demon. Here comes the silence, and here comes the first blood by Puppy. The nuke cleans up the kill, and that, like you mentioned, that'll be a fast mech or pipe. But right now it'll be the fast boots, as he is going to get his gank going. And with the fast boots, he can start maybe ganking a bit further, go in for the early push. That's going to mean a lot, and Puck, I mean, I've got to imagine as this lane goes on, he loses more and more heavily, even though the phase shift cooldown does get reduced. But
I think I think it's one of those lanes that, this is just, I'm thinking about it, I haven't done it, but I think it's really volatile in that whoever gets an advantage gets a much, much bigger advantage later. Because if Puck hits 6 before Skywrath does, like, Skywrath's just going to die. But meanwhile, Denny's almost 7, and Puck's not even 5 yet, so...
Yeah, it's not looking good for Demon in this lane as... Yeah, Denny's just ball crowing, has already 800 gold in the bank. We'll probably go for Arcane Boots like we saw in the previous game. And meanwhile, Bembo is just being ushered away. I think he was forced to go back to Fountain since he got full mana, or he picked up a regen rune, one or the other. As, yeah, I think he did have to go back to base, so CK is just going to be farming up. Already has a strength red finish. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter is really going to make... He has to make so much happen on this top lane, but he's a Gyro. How much impact can he obviously have in this early stage of the game?
He needs to rush BKB because CK, so he won't have any real damage.
Meanwhile, Kuroki going to get each pawn on the top lane. Here comes Missile Disruption a little bit beforehand as the Illuminate is going to hit. Here comes Jail, going to cast a call down. Kuroki will most certainly die in this assault. Jail forced to use all his mana, but very much worth it. And Ichi probably can't push on the back of this now the tower's at full HP, and Darkseer is at level 5, so he can do a lot of damage to the crease, but he's just going to try the Siege Wagon en route as Demon getting contested by these runes, and he is just having a miserable time.
Sorry about that, my mic cut out for a little bit. But yeah, it looks like CK and Wisp is not yet 6, but I don't think that he's just going to be able to get the second tower because there will be a response. And it actually looks like this tower is going to get contested. Hasting in the Centaur, it's cute.
Yep, Ion Shell, so saving or getting a mobile tank in there to tank some of the creep damage, and Kuroki with the Soul Ring he's just going to be able to defend the tower, and Ichi without the Siege Wagon, it's going to be a lot more tricky, although, never mind, they have another Siege Wagon. Maybe they didn't have a Siege Wagon. Maybe they just saved it from the last time. I don't know, I might be dreaming. As meanwhile, Clockwork going to get engaged upon on the bottom lane. Even though I didn't see it, you could probably guess how that went. Reality or Tether Stun, basic.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. I mean, the combo is so brain-dead, which is why it's so heavily favored. Like, you don't have to be good at all to do it, but if you are good, it just makes it that much better. And I'm pretty sure Demon's going to get gone on. Yup. Oh my god, that's not even fair.
I couldn't even catch that. What happened? He got silenced into...
He started trying to push up the farm, and I was like, oh no, Demon, don't do this. And then all 3 spells, and then full duration Mystic Flare. Can't do anything about it.
I mean, 600 damage on Puck, that's his whole HP pool. So,
yeah.
And keep in mind, you probably won't get magic reduction because of the silence giving you extra magic amplification. So, yeah, that isn't really fair. And Dendi already has Arcane Boots, and right now, Ichi, they're winning their top lane, but still, they're getting Kuroki a lot of experience. And when you get a Darkseer experience, he's just going to find his items one way or another because he has that Ion Shell to farm ridiculously quickly.
Yeah, and this tower hasn't even fallen yet. Like, they've committed so much to this lane, and nothing's happened. It looks like they're just trying to have Keeper farm the forest, which is okay, but I don't know. I feel like they need to make something happen.
On the top lane, and Kuroki already used the Surge, as Soul Catcher is going to be applied to Kuroki, but they're not going to pursue the issue, not having enough move speed to escape. They're just going to finish off the tower, so they're going to get a bit of gold, as Jo does pick up the last hit. Already finished the drum, so it's going to give him a bit more survivability, but... So you think BKB Rush is the best option as Denny?
I think he has to, otherwise CK is just going to murder him over and over and over.
And Mystic Flare having such a low cooldown means every time it's up, Demon can't really do anything. It's just silence.
Yeah, I don't think teams are used to playing against this hero, but I really do think that you can't let him snowball. Like, you can't let him get off to a good start. You have to sit on him mid. And they didn't do this. They just kind of let him do whatever he wanted. And he's... I don't know. I think Denny's going to do big things this game just because he got a good start, and it's going to be so hard to stop him.
Well, I mean, if Gyro does pick up a fast BKB, that would be extremely useful because all of his damage is magical. But then you have to worry about the CK as well, so... I don't know, a lot of pressure is being put on Jo, and Gyro is decent early mid-game, but he really needs that BKB, which won't be coming anytime soon.
No, not at all. It's going to come out at like 15, 16 at the earliest. And by that time, CK is going to start murdering stuff. Like, Wisp and CK are going to go on bot lane.
Yep, the orb's going to spot Bambo's position. Cogs have already expired, and here comes rotation by Puppy as Demon's going to teleport in, going to get a 2-man Dream Call as Sakshka, going to get the 1 second stun Demon, actually 3 seconds, as meanwhile Demon will get absolutely demolished. Funnick on there as well. Xiaodian does manage to kill off the Chaos Knight, so we're going to see a rotation in. Bambo, the relocate, will help save the life of the Wisp as Clock...
CK's going to buy back.
Yep,
Guarantee
CK
it.
gonna buy back so he can teleport back in with the Wisp as Meow Puppy is gonna die. Here comes the Chaos Knight Wisp once again. Bambo gonna cog, trying to save his allies as Jao's gonna try to push out the DPS. Funnick will end up dying to Jao as the Tetherstone's gonna delay that for a little bit. Sakshka trying to do whatever he can, but Jao is completely out of mana. Sakshka trying to go to work, trying to mana, but he's being completely surrounded. That StarCraft Surround gonna skill up a point to his ultimate. He's level 9, but Dendi is here, never fear, as Fear actually is gonna escape with the silver HP. Dendi actually misfocusing a little bit, and he is gonna die as well. EG coming out very much ahead in 9 engagement over Navi looking a little bit confused.
That was pretty poor decision making from Navi. You're fighting, you know that Puck's gonna TP in, and you know he's gonna have Dream Coil. So CK, even by going into that tower, like, he just died. They made that decision when he went into the tower. And then Wisp tried to, you know, leave, and he relocated out, which was fine. And then he brought the CK in with him into 4 people in like a little tiny place where they're already surrounded. I don't think it was a great decision. And this is how you beat the Wisp. It doesn't matter if you can go anywhere on the map if you're always grouped up as 5 people. So.
Right, but Navi's lineup is gonna get, well, Puppy trying to work his way towards the mechanism. He has the buckler already finished, but he's still quite far away. Meanwhile, Dendi did die. He is probably going to go for the Atos like we saw, although he could go for the Force Staff, as they're going to see a hook in by the Clockwork onto Dendi, or Mystic Flare doing work, as he is definitely going to give one parting shot. As we're going to see CK Wisp teleport in, going to make them regret teleporting in on Dendi, as the defensive destruction being dropped by Fear. Nicely done, as Fike is going to get blown the heck up. Jao is there on the assault. Shadow Poison Demon is there as well. The missile is going to track Sakshka to the end of time, as EG is going to die this. I think the missile should be able to clean up. Yeah, 12 HP. Can't really dodge it. The missile trudging forward the towers. Oh, the rocket flare is going to whiff. The missile? Worst start in the game, saying.
Oh man, that's just unfortunate.
Meow Puppy.
Oh, beat is.
Yep, Puppy is going to kill off Beatus with the help of his Centaur, but Jao is going to be on the pursuit. He has the missile tracking him down. Once again, going to enchant a creep, trying to help give him some armor, I guess. And he's going to use Hand of God, so I guess he wants to live, but I don't know if he can. Jao is still there. He has high base move speed. He's going to pop the drums. He's already used all 4 of his drum charges, 12 minutes in the game. He is going to... Ooh, Clockwork does manage to get the last hit with the double, or with the rocket flare. And Jao suddenly has a lot of gold in the bank.
Yeah, he just got a bunch of kills. He's already got that Ogre Club, so he definitely is rushing a BKB. And the sooner this gets up, the better, because it means that when CK Wisp go on him, he can just blow up Wisp, and then he doesn't have to be scared.
And right now, Navi's mid-game lineup, it should be reaching its peak, but right now it's sort of crummy to a fault. But yeah, it's like you mentioned, EG just grouping up and just say, come at us. We have Shadow Demon to delay. We have so much damage in the form of Gyrocopter, and Wisp absolutely gets demolished by the immense amounts of damage from Illuminate, Call Down, and all of that. So Navi looking a little bit shaken, but we'll see if they can recover with some of the items, as actually Chaos Knight is quite far behind, doesn't even have his Bracer finished, and I imagine he does want to get the drums before he goes into the armlet.
I think this might just be... He might, because he had a bad start, just get a Bracer and then go straight into Armlet, or even straight into BKB. Because if you have an okay start of CK, it's okay to get all those mid-game items up and just keep steamrolling. But if you don't have like a great start, a lot of times it's just better to get a faster BKB so that you can not get foiled by the enemy's items. It's kind of weird, but I think it makes sense in my head. And Puppy does have the mech? Yeah, Puppy's got the... Nope, that was a Bracer recipe. He tricked me.
Damn you, Puppy. He's still 750 gold away, and you can see EG playing very conservatively. Radiant do have a ward there, so I think they know. Yeah, they definitely see Bambo. I think they probably saw Beatus, but EG's just staying together, saying friends forever. As, meanwhile, Navi's going to group up themselves, and it's tricky for EG because they are going to be fighting a full Chen army, and Hand of God will be up relatively soon, so... I don't know, even though EG is looking pretty sharp in these engagements, even though this is the proper way you should fight a Wisp, it's always a bit tricky when a Chen is at his peak at this point in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how it covers for Wisp's weakness with the massive Chen army, but it looks like there's going to be an engage soon, so I'll stop talking.
Yep, Jao is going to get bursted down. Defensive Disruption going to delay a lot of the damage from the Mana Flare. Bambo going to take a bunch of damage. Jao will be pulled back by the Rally Out to Demon. Already used his coil, going to cast a Winger. Jao, will he be able to escape Dendi? One more parting shot. Will he be able to kill Jao? No, just a little... too little damage, as Darkseer with the Wisp relocate. The Ion Shell managed to clean up 2 kills. Really smart play by Funnick as well as Sakshka. They're gonna go in back to finish off the gyro, and meanwhile buybacks aplenty. Demon will end up dying again. That relocate and the ion shell and the creeps just tanking it up. Leads Navi can dive with impunity, and Fear gonna have to just run for his life. No, he's gonna get vacuumed back in. This Darkseer, Ion Shell is just doing so much damage. Kuroki, the unsung hero in this game.
And that's like the end of the game for... Oh, Bambo's still... Oh, I think he's going to be okay. Yeah. But that's exactly what Navi needed to have happen. Basically, they have a team like that's so strong. Like, Wisp doubles your healing on your team to begin with, basically. Chen, you know, obviously does a lot to heal with. And you have one ultra-strong carry who's buffed by Ion Shell. He's going to be healed by Chen and Wisp. So you got that tanky carry in CK that just runs in the middle of everything. And then you got the DPS carry that's really, really fragile in Dendi. And right now, EG doesn't have an answer for that. Because CK is just running in the middle of everything, and he's ultra strong and hard to kill. It means they have to focus him, and it means Dendi gets to do whatever he wants. So I think Dendi got a triple kill that fight, while CK just tanked damage, and they all focused him, and Dendi just did a gazillion damage. So I don't know what he's just going to do to this to prevent that from happening.
Dendi has a haste turn as well as a double damage turn, using both of them as they clearly want to look for engagement for Demon, as he has 200 gold in the bank, doesn't even have treads, and he has 750 HP. This is looking quite grim, as Phonic level 8 is surpassing the puck. Bambo has to be a bit careful, as Illuminate is keeping everybody inside Navi back, but Chen only 50 gold away from finishing the mechanism, give or take, and he should have that up relatively soon. With that, I think Navi will try to get some of these towers.
I think they'll try to get all of them, not some of them. The bot towers are just gold that hasn't been collected yet. They're going to be really easy to take. But once they get the mid tower down, like all the other towers are just going to fall. The biggest struggle is the mid tower, because once that's done, the rest of the map's opened up.
Oh man, Kuroki just finished his pipe. He had so many assists in that last engagement, and he picked up a kill as well. So that is going to be the pipe and the mechanism finished at the exact same time. This is going to be a brutal, brutal push. Even with Keeper of the Clock, there's only so much you can do.
It doesn't do anything, because that's why they picked the Darkseer for the ultra fast pipe and mech. It just means Keeper's not relevant at this point. Like, what can BDs do in a fight that matters?
Yeah, he can blind people.
No, that's true.
Which doesn't help against Skywrath. Only helps against CK, and that's it. Many Chen creeps.
Blinding Chen creeps.
Yeah.
I would have seen it all.
Meanwhile, again, just Demon having a miserable time. Fear actually has more farm than Demon. This is pretty sad. He's going for the 4-staff. Jo, only about 550 gold away from fishing that BKB, so if you can get that up for the next engagement, that means that they can at least... They don't want to look for a team fight, but if they have to fight, they have the option to do so. But clearly, they're going to just play as passively as possible.
EG's just going to make them fight. EG's just going to group up and take all the towers. Or, by EG, I mean Navi. And they really... I don't know if they can stop it. Like, Gyro doesn't have enough damage. Puck doesn't have any damage because she's never going to be in the right place because she doesn't have Dagger. I mean, she doesn't even have Treads. And, I don't know. Dendi's got Atos. I bet he's going to 100-0 someone in, like, the next 30 seconds.
Well, camera's going to be watching him as I've missed too many of his kills already, but yeah, that Skywrath just does insane damage. Already level 12, so that Mystic Flare, that is a full Puck HP pool, that's full Keeper pool. That is everybody except for the Gyro and the Clock.
Yeah. Well, it's even easier for Clock simply because he's standing in the same place. And yeah, Puppy's going to take bot tower, and they're going to get the next tower after this. They can't stop it.
Well, EG, they're positioning themselves to try, at the very least.
I don't think they should try. I think they're going to lose this fight. They shouldn't be trying. They should be farming the map and stacking the jungle for JO. I think they should dodge this fight. But we'll see if it actually works out that way, if I'm completely wrong.
Well, Kuroki used the pipe, so, and the mechanism is going to be used as well, so they're going to delay the Navi push at the very least, so the tier 2 will get defended, but the pipe will go down very, very soon, and again, this is, like you mentioned, a little bit of lost time. Actually, JO has finished the BKB, but again, Gyrocopter really, really desperately needs the damage, and he's going to get a little bit of an ancient stack, but that's not going to be nearly enough, as Navi looking to transition for the middle. They have Hand of God, almost level 2, they have the mechanism, they have the pipe online, and this middle tower, it's going to be in for a rude awakening, but Yuji trying to go in first to say, we're going to take the fight to you? I don't know.
I don't think that's a good decision, but we'll see if it works out or not.
Well, maybe they feel like since BKB stops everything on side Navi, they think JO can own them all. Probably not. They probably don't think that. I guess they're just going to delay the push by being aggressive. Bambo going to get back into enforced to defensively hook, and that means, oh my god, Demon got two-shotted as he got reality silenced and whacked by the Chaos Knight, and that's going to spark an immediate retreat by EG. Speed is going to pop, the Illuminate Pipe going to be used as well, and Funnick, I think he's positioning himself for a relocate. He's constantly canceling it, as Hand of God is going to be casted. They are going to find Fear. Not too sure what Fear was doing, as he is going to be caught out, and he is going to get absolutely dominated. And meanwhile, all Beatus can do is drop some Illuminates.
Yep. I mean, that's what you do on Keeper of the Light. Like, your team's losing, you're just, I'm just going to keep shooting you, and eventually you'll die. But in this case, I don't really think it is going to happen, just because the Chen and the Pipe and the Mac and dear lord. Have we seen any successful relocates this game?
Yeah, we saw in the bottom lane with the relocate behind the tower with the Ion Shell.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But we haven't seen any ganks.
No, no ganks.
Okay.
This is a pushing Wisp.
I mean, it is a function of the hero in that he just doubles your heal. So 1 mana boots counts for like 3. Yeah, I mean, he tethered Dendi. He got his own mana low with his overcharge thing. And then 1 mana boots on Dendi just counts as 2, basically. And Dendi's all up to almost full mana now, just because of that. And this is the lesser known function of the Wisp, but it makes pushes just last forever. It's not all about the ganking. It's about the fact that you're probably the best healer in the game.
And EG, they're just getting worn down. They're going to smoke up as Demon looking to finish the Dagon. They're going to spy out Kuroki. He already popped the pipe. Wall is going to be used as well. Vacuum only going to catch 2. Jail trying to do whatever he can, pop the BK, but he just does not do anything. Sakshika going to pop his ultimate as Dendi does manage to pick off the clock. Jo does kill off the Darkseer, and Dendi's pushing out mad DPS, kills off the puck. Meanwhile, Sakshika is on the chase. Ato is going to use on Fear. 1 ultimate and a bolt is the death of that hero. Jo is going to get routed in. They can't even kill Sakshika. Well, they do with 1 last parting shot. Dendi completely out of mana, but it's going to be a 4 for 2 with Keeper Light being the sole survivor, and that's definitely not the hero you want to have surviving a fight.
Not at all. And Dendi's just going ham while CK's in the middle of everything, just taking damage and dying. Dendi's dealing so much damage. It's like the this really is my favorite strategy. The you have a tanky person in the middle of everyone, and you have an ultra fragile, ultra mobile hero just dealing all the damage. That is like my favorite way to play Dota, and this is just how you play it in a nutshell. Like, if you want a game to look on how to do it, this is how you do it. Like a Templar, Assassin, Shadow Fiend, all those heroes. Skywrath Mage counts as like a carry. Even though BKB beats him, the amount of damage he deals is like the amount that a Shadow Fiend deals. And if you're not focusing him, he's gonna kill you.
And it's not going to get prettier for EG as Dendi level 14, so all of his spells are maxed aside from the ultimate. Chaos Knight has finished his BKB, so he can tank even more. Well, I mean, at least now I guess they can hit Dendi with some spells because they can't the Chaos Knight, but still, Dendi does have 1450 HP to play with. And meanwhile, EG trying to come up with something. Demon trying to get some form of damage, going for the Dagon, but that's clearly a desperate measure as Jo. He got the BKB, he survived, but
no, it's not going to be a Dagon. It's going to be a Force Staff, because Dagger isn't that good on puck against CK Wisp. Because what happens is they throw the thing on the animation for the blink strike goes on you, and then you phase shift, and then they move over you, and then you die. Because the tether thing breaks your blink out of phase shift, right? So you have to get a Force Staff to preemptively avoid that happening. Yep, like, there are times, even when you're not having a bad game, when it makes more sense to go Force Staff against the CK Wisp on puck than a Dagger. And I think, yep, he bought the Ring of Regen. He's going to do it.
Yep, so he will have the Force Staff up in about 800 gold. Meanwhile, Jao trying to pick up whatever farm he can. But yeah, Jao survived the whole fight. I mean, he survived, but no damage.
They started the fight by going on Kuriki and used all their spells on him. And he lived for relocate. They get strong. Or maybe he's just farming, I don't know.
He's just farming.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when EG isn't making mistakes by being by themselves, so I guess why not just use it to get an extra wave?
Yeah, gives CK a little bit more gold to buy himself a nice pair of shoes as Kuroki going for the Aghanims. Dendi closing in on the BKB will have it in 1400 gold. Wisp has the Ghost Scepter. Vlad's finished up on Puppy. This is almost all the push irons they need. All they need is a BKB up on Denny, but they don't even need that for this push. Pipe has already been popped. Illuminate doing next to nothing. The creep's going very, very strong, and EG not even going to contest this as...
They can Rax right now. I think this is a Rax. I don't think EG is strong enough to stop it. I bet they're going to try to do it. I don't know. Maybe they might go for Roshan first and get the other towers, because why not, right? But I think they're strong enough. And yeah, nope. I was wrong. They're just going to back out. And I think I lost V-Ball on.
Oh, no, I'm back. Just, yeah, accidentally muted my mic as, yeah. But
that's all good. I do it all the time.
yeah,
But yeah, I think now he's just going to try to take the other tier 2. Just do it, you know, the easy old-fashioned way. Take all the towers, take Roshan, clear out your jungle, clear out their jungle, and then end the game. Which is more boring, but, you know, 90% of the time it's a better decision. I think the really famous saying from StarCraft is when you're ahead, get more ahead. And this is just what they're doing.
yep. Well, Demon has a 4-step. Demon Edge picked up on Jo, so, I mean, you slowly but surely getting those, but, like, it's so hard as Dendi... He's gonna have the BKB, and with that, with the double BKB up on CK as well as Skywrath, I mean, EG's DPS, it's gonna only come from the gyro, and that is nowhere near significant enough.
No, normally when you pick Puck, you don't want him to just be a Dream Coil and Silence. Like, you want him to be a full semi-carry with just getting all his spells off constantly. And even though your right click isn't that much, like, you pick that hero assuming he's gonna do like a semi-carry's amount of damage in team fights. And he isn't. He's just a Dream Coil and then he dies. So if Puck isn't dealing damage and you have 3 supports who aren't really damage dealing supports, I guess it's just all on Jo.
Yeah, the silence is like one of the best skills in the game.
Yeah.
I've always said it.
My friend's been trying to spam a ton of games on Skywrath support, and he's like, oh my god, this is so legit. For defensive tri-lanes, he says it's really good. He's been drafting it a lot.
Oh, Reality Rich just going to catch that illusion as Sakshika smartly realizes that it was an illusion. Does not use the Chaos Bolt, so going to save himself a bit of mana as here comes the push. And with the BKB finished up on Dendi, there's really not too much EG can do. I guess they're going to try to defend as much as they can. And the more time they buy, the more time Jo will have to farm, but he's not even farming. He can't really farm on his own because relocate. So maybe this is what you should do with Wisp. Just push with him rather than, you know, gank with him.
Well, the issue with that is, yeah, he's a great pusher, but what you run into is, what EG did is like a textbook example of how not to run lanes against a Wisp. You have to destroy him in lane. He's so weak, he doesn't do anything. You just have to destroy him, and instead they just abandon the lane, and that's not how you approach that hero, and they are going to go in now, so...
Yep, they're just going to scare EG away from the tier 2, not even expand anything. Well, they expand the pipe, but it's a 50-second cooldown as JL going to try to wrap her in from the side. Bambo hook-shotted something.
Demon.
Oh. Well, that sucks.
Come on, Demon, use your phase shift. Get
Oh.
it together.
I mean, it's clear because they're not in the house yet.
Clearly.
So, meanwhile, Illuminate Orb flying in, but Kuroki's just going to say, pipe's up soon. Not even going to probably use the pipe.
Yeah, and oh my god, there's a ton of vision from EG. One of the wards just faded, but they had 3 wards everywhere. So I guess if Navi isn't spending any money warding and they're just all getting items, and EG's spending a ton of money warding, yeah, let me check the supports items, because I haven't actually looked at them. It's not a lot. There's a mech. Wow, Sphere somehow got a 4-staff. Don't know where that came from. But they are going to smoke.
Yep.
Navi's going to go to top lane because that tower is much, much easier to take than mid tower just because of how the terrain works. And yeah, it's not even going to get negative. What is he doing?
Jo teleporting in, going to pop the Caldon. Pipe going to be used as well, so Caldon damage largely negated. And meanwhile, Fear going to get the disruption going. Here comes the missile going to fly in. Funnick just surviving everything. Mana Flare going to work, and EG just being pushed away.
Oh my god. Fear almost got 2-shot. Dear lord, Dendy's dealing a lot of damage. Beatus is going to go down, it looks like. Sox is on the attack. Phonics just getting the relocate, or getting the tether on everybody. And it looks like CK's going to smack Demon in the face. There's an Atos. There's going to be a relocate, and I think Demon's going to live. Yeah. I guess only the well can protect him at this point.
Even that is not enough.
Yep, and that's what's so. Oh, never mind. GG.
Wow, Navi playing. I mean, they had a small hiccup here and there, but that Ryu-OK gank by Wispa between the towers really just changed momentum, and after that, there was really no turning back. I guess, like, once you get an advantage with this lineup, it's so difficult to stop them.
Yeah, all of their heroes are snow, except for the Darkseer, really. All of Navi's heroes are snowball heroes that when you get a lead, you don't look back. Like, remember Dota a year ago? When you would get Chen and you would get heroes like that and you just push a tower and never ever stop. It was all about pushing Rasta, stuff like that, Veno. This is kind of like that kind of Dota, except with CK.
And Skyrath.
And Skywrath.
Throwing
We'll
the
just
deeps.
pretend that he's like a Rasta mid.
I mean, he's a bit better.
He's a lot better. But yeah, they got an advantage. All their heroes are super advantage heavy heroes, and then they just didn't lose. And I think EG got really outdrafted. Like, Puppy's draft was next level. It wasn't apparent to me why they were picking like the Darkseer and stuff until later, but it made a ton of sense. And I think they just won because of that and because of outplaying EG.
Yes, so hopefully the training's been paying off for Navi, as they're definitely one of the West's best hope at dethroning some of the Chinese powerhouses. Meanwhile, EG gotta take this loss in stride. I mean, they've been being pretty much all the teams they could possibly be. They just need to get this monkey off their back, and this is a gorilla, as Navi just completely owns EG's soul for the most part. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and this has been B-Ball and Shy Kid. We'll see you next time. Peace.